Hey folks, Frontier Hand here again. Today I have this electric heater and the problem is the switch. It's this knob is for setting the temperature, and this one I'm not sure, but well, I'm not sure how it does it, but if you have only this one switch flipped on, then the total output is 800 watts, and if you flip the other one, well, if you flip both, you have the full power, which is about 1800 watts. I'm not sure, but you get the idea. So, but this one is broken, and I think it's either a broken piece of plastic or it is a spring-loaded mechanism, so maybe something just snapped, and well, we need to take down the whole front panel and see what's in there and what's wrong. And I'm pretty comfortable we can repair this. So, if I'm not mistaken, then the front panel is held by these two screws, and then there is this, I don't know how to call it, but it is a sort of collar that's wrapped around the whole thing, and it joins together the cover, the edge of the cover, with the first fin. Okay, so in order to take down this thing, I will have to remove one of the undercarriages, which is just this little winged nut, then those two screws, and I'm not really sure about the cable holder and the power cable, how that will work out, but we'll see. So the wing nut aside, and let's find a magnet, which I always play with them because I'm a bit neurotic, and magnets are fun, right? So now the whole thing should just slide off. Maybe like this. Okay. There's this U-piece. Yeah. The construction is pretty much the same as with the other heater I disassembled previously. It had some similar problem, but not the switch was broken, but the temperature knob. Now, as you can see, these are this rusted piece is one end, and this is the other end of the collar I was talking about, and once I take it down you will see the shape of it and how does it look, and both ends are held by a small spring which binds them together so it doesn't slip off. So now we have to take down those two screws and this collar. Interestingly enough, these are... Now we need to take down the spring and oh. See, spring, and then down. Then there's this little tab which is folded over the edge of the first fin, so I just use pliers. To be honest, if the tab wasn't here, I don't think it would do any harm. So just don't worry if it snaps. Let's flip the thing over. The sound you can hear is air bubbles rising through the oil, mineral oil inside the heater. Yeah, and it's a pretty scary sound, but completely normal, so don't worry. And this is the collar I was talking about, okay? So you see it is a U-shaped piece of sheet metal. Now what I want to do is to attach a carriage, but not here where it was, rather in here.
Věděli jste, že syndrom karpálního tunelu začíná vlivem na prstů? Používejte očekání řešení označení.
There's something holding it. This plastic piece of shit. Maybe if I just... Yeah, there are the screws. I half disassembled it, and that's how it looks inside. And this thing right here is the broken switch, and as you can see there's several bunch of cables running to and from that switch, and so I will have to mark them with a paper tape, and I will keep a photo of the thing assembled, and after I'm done doing that I will just take out those screws and the whole thing should slide out. Well, and this is the switch that was broken. At first the irritation of one of it actually is a double switch, and both switches should have irritation in, they should latch into the other position or snap back. And the irritation in one of the switches broke, and I'm not really sure why, and at this point I don't really care. And as you can see, both switches are now the same, because when I was pulling it out I managed to pull some of the cables along with the actual terminals from the switch itself, so I managed to the rotation on the other switch as well. But that's not really a problem because the whole switch would have to be changed. So that's why I bought a replacement, which is here. Let me unpack that. And these are not the same make, but so the first one is rated for 16 amps max at 250 volts, and as you can see, is Tianmi KG 03 or 09, no, it's 03 C, and the new one is not rated for 16 amps but 15. But to be honest, I don't think that it would ever reach 16 because it's going to be run on a 16 amp circuit breaker, and if we take into account that we're gonna run this at 230 volts and the power rating of the electric heater, this is 4, is 2300 watts, so 2.3 kilowatt, then you can follow this very simplistic formula, which in this case isn't completely precise, but let's say we just want some rough estimation. And with this formula, P is the power, U is the voltage, and I is the current, and we want to know what will the maximum current be if we know that we are going to run 2300 watt heater at 230 volts. So we do this. So I equals to P divided by U, which means that we are going to divide 2300 by 230, which gives us about 10 amps. So it shouldn't reach more than 10 amps at all, unless something f***ed up, and at that point it doesn't really matter if the switch burns or not, because if there are going to be 15 amps on this switch, then the whole heater is going to be busted anyway, so, and it's probably going to catch fire, so we don't need to worry about that. Also, the dimensions of the switch are slightly different. It's vertically it's slightly smaller, horizontally it's about the same. Both I checked before I bought that, and the wiring inside, because both these switches are backlit, so once you flip the switch into on position, a light comes on. So yeah, so we are going to switch the switch, or to swap the switch for the new one, and we'll see if the heater works as expected. Here is the front panel face, and it attaches to the actual front panel. So first of all, I'll have to test how well this switch fits. Right, and as you can see, every panel mounted electric component will have these heads or whatever you want to call them, and these are basically just little plastic springs that once you push it into the panel, they compress and hold the component in place. So let's see. We want to have it this way, or no, this is stop, and we want to yeah, and it snaps, and well, it doesn't hold nearly as good as I would hoped, so we'll have to figure a way how to make it fit tighter. In the end, I just ended up using hot glue because the plastic from which the NFC cards are made of is pretty slippery, and it just didn't work as expected. So hot glue, after all, this shouldn't be that disparate, and since this is basically where you touch the thing, so it shouldn't get hot enough so that the glue melts. So I'm pretty comfortable using that. So now we will have to put the plastic face back into place, and it's held by 4 these little tabs that snap into slots in the sheet metal, and from the other side they are held by 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. And after that we will reconnect the switch to the cables. So I have the thing reinstalled back. Here are the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and now to reconnect the cables to this switch, and for that I made this little diagram, so let's hope it checks out. So everything is reconnected according to the diagram: top and insert, top and insert? What the fuck? No, insert is on the keyboard. Inside. So it should go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now the first 2 cables, I'm not sure which one should be 2, that's Roman 2, and which one should be 1, but since these are both connected here and here they share the same electric potential, then it doesn't matter at all, so that's fine. And the rest is as follows: 3, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, right? So let's take this down so that it doesn't burn or something as this heats up. So I'm not throwing that away just yet, but I will put the cover back and secure it with 2 screws at least, and try to fire the thing up to see if it works. I got it reassembled again, yeah, and I'm ready to fire it up. And first of all, a little word of caution here first. You shouldn't run these on extension cord. It's not actually that the cable itself wouldn't handle the current, but, well, there are some, I can imagine some sketchy extension cords that might catch fire or something. Thing with strips, hey dog, the thing with strips is that I wouldn't trust the cable either, but the thing that is most likely to catch fire or get really hot is these strips themselves. And you can see here, and I'm pretty sure it was another electric heater as well, which I run through that strip, which I shouldn't have done, I know, but I did. And it got hot, and the male connector got stuck in the female because the plastic around it had melted. And I don't know if you've ever seen this little shit disassembled, but inside there are long strips of sheet metal which connect the terminals that are at the same electric potential. So the face is all connected with a single sheet. The center is connected with a single piece, and then the safety is connected with a single strip. And the thing is that if you connect it to the far end, then the current has to flow all the way from here through those strips into this connector, and the whole thing heats up. So never, for God's sake, don't ever use extension cords with heaters. Anyway, let's flip the switch. Let's set it to low, and kaboom in 1, 2, 3. It doesn't shine. Oh yeah, it works. For f***'s sake, it works. And so far, nothing is burning. Nothing is exploding. Nothing is leaking mineral oil. So I'm pretty positive we fixed the thing. Well, after 5 minutes of running at almost full, and with the fan also turned on, it's already pretty hot. And yes, there is a smell of burned home dust, and quite possibly it might also be the piece of electric tape I put in there around one of the terminals, but that should wear off. So yeah, another thing fixed. So stay DIY, and live out the fronty way.